Braelon Allen, no matter what. I think the Cowboys are going to let Tony Pollard walk, or he comes back for a cheap change of pace role. Because listen, man, they couldn't run the ball, and Mike McCarthy was harping earlier in the season on Kellen Moore and that he's happy to run his own plays because he wants to run the ball more. Well, he lied. He lied. Something happened, whether it was either A, they figured out they can't run the ball with Tony Pollard, and for whatever reason, a offensive line that's a good offensive line, but not great in run blocking. So I don't know if that was it or if there was something else underlining there, but this running back class all of a sudden, Hoove, is kind of thinned out. Devin Neal from Kansas, he was a pretty hype prospect. He heads back to Kansas there. And then Travion Henderson, the potential RB1 in this class, heads back to Ohio State. That's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out there back in Columbus now that they just got Junkins, another great running back prospect. So it's weird what's happening in the college football streets, but regardless, I think this makes Braelon Allen kind of the consensus running back one now. I know a lot of people like Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. He's coming off a torn ACL, though. Blake Corum, people like Blake. He's a little bit older of a prospect. So a lot of questions marks here, but I think Allen was a stud at Wisconsin, really carried through them like hard times, man. That was not a good time to be a Wisconsin Badger fan. Loyal, never left. He could have jetted off to some other school last season, got a huge NIL deal, but he stayed loyal. He's a great character kid. And it just works with these Wisconsin running backs who've JT, Melvin Gordon, James White, like the last three of them to be drafted. The only one that didn't work long-term was kind of Monty Ball. But outside of that, I think the Cowboys trade up on day 2, and I think they go after who they think could be the next Jonathan Taylor, which I think Braelon Allen's a great comp for him.
One, I'm so glad that you brought me on for this segment because I love talking about my Badgers. Even though they drive me absolutely nuts, I love talking about them. 2, if he goes to the Cowboys, mark it here, I will buy his jersey because Jerry Jones loves his Badgers. He got the grandson of Barry Alvarez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So got the grandson of Barry Alvarez. If you don't know who Barry Alvarez is, he's very connected with UW football program. He was the athletic director, I believe. Yes. So grandson of him, and he brought him in, and you obviously see how involved Jake Ferguson is. To your point about the Badgers running backs, I mean, Monty Ball had issues of his own, so it's not really necessarily the Badgers program, but they are in the Big Ten. They're so run heavy and so focused on the run game. That's why these offensive linemen, these tight ends, these running backs, they're all so good, and you don't need a top tier quarterback because it's not a passing offense. It's not a passing conference. It's all running. You hit them in the mouth because it's cold.
It might become that, but it's as of now, yes. Correct. Absolutely.
So that's why for all these Badgers running backs up until this point, till Braelon Allen, they've had a lot of miles on them. And Braelon Allen does have a lot of miles on him, but I think honestly Jonathan Taylor had more miles on his tank than Braelon Allen did coming into this point. And Braelon Allen is like my gem of the draft. I know it's hard to say that because now he's probably the RB1 with everyone going back to school, but when he was like the RB3, RB4 in people's eyes and people wanted to doubt him, I was all about it because he was battling through injuries. He was playing banged up, and he put out some kind of not good tape, and people are going to get a bad impression of him. But I know what talent Braelon Allen has, and this guy is going to be good. I think that they're going to go after Derrick Henry, the Cowboys. But if they had Derrick Henry and Braelon Allen, holy good, that's Zeke and Pollard at its peak again.
To put in perspective what you said there with the miles thing, Jonathan Taylor had 926 total carries in his 3 years that he was active for Wisconsin. Didn't play his COVID year. And then 2023 Braelon Allen in his 3 years with Wisconsin, 600 carries. So a big difference, a lot lighter miles on him, and he's going to be fresh. So I think if Braelon Allen were to go to Dallas, let's say there is no Henry, let's say there is no Pollard, let's say it's just Rico Dowdle and those guys in the backfield that are there right now, I think I'd probably be taking Braelon Allen, the 3rd or 4th round, the 4th round.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
He's going to shoot through the roof. And I think Dynasty, while we have no running back right now in a Dynasty Superflex rookie draft that we would take in round 1, I think Braelon Allen lands there. He's like a top 7, 8 picks. I think you could make, once the elite quarterbacks and Rome and Neighbors go off the board, I think then you're considering him.